The YouTube drama that I like to follow tends to be like where it crosses into almost like newsworthy type stuff. But this is about copyright. It's about YouTube guidelines. It's about Twitch streaming. It's creators going at each other's fucking throats, which is very like WWE almost. Ethan Klein, you've seen him. Back in 2015, 2016 or whatever, I used to show you some of his funniest stuff.
G-lie be like on my candy.
Yeah, that really captured our imagination. G-lie be like, go my candy.
G-lie be like, Pete Rat, go my candy.
This fucking psychopath, like cutting up gummy worms that Ethan and Hila were reacting to. So, I don't know, I probably fell out of interest with Ethan, I don't know, it could have been 2018 or something. It was quite a while ago. He started doing his podcast. He stopped making produced stuff. When he would make produced stuff, it was pretty much all drama. That's always been his thing, I suppose. I remember some notable Ethan moments along the way. The Bill Burr interview, where Bill Burr just kind of trolls him the whole time. The Jordan Peterson interview, which later on he would renounce.
And Jordan Peterson's like, Ethan, you spineless worm.
You're going to find out, bucko. So Ethan, at some point, you must know this, but just a recap for everybody. Ethan, H3H3 Productions, he was doing another podcast with Hassan Piker, right, one of the most popular political streamers in the world, but mostly on Twitch. There's some top 2 or 3 guys up there. Asmongold is one of them. Hassan is way up there. But the difference is Hassan shares all the same politics and all the same, outlooks, philosophical outlooks as the owners of Twitch. So Hassan has done some questionable things in his time on Twitch. Like he interviewed like a Houthi rebel and was like, doing heart symbols at him and saying like, we support you, man. And, he said horrible things about 9/11 and, he's an interesting character. But Ethan did a pod with him for a while because they felt like they both had the same politics. And wouldn't you know it, the Israel conflict tore them apart. Hassan is very anti-Zionist. Ethan, his wife is from Israel and he lived there for a good long while. So he's much more sympathetic to it, though not entirely sympathetic. Ethan made a giant video called, he brands it the Content Nuke. It's an hour and a half, basically document of all of the kind of transgressions of Hassan from his perspective. Orbiting Hassan is a group of, I don't know, I think extremely unlikable people. This Denims person, this Frogan, I only know of them because of this stuff, but I understand Frogan was a mod for Hassan, and she said terrible things like she hopes U.S. soldiers get PTSD. I mean, they're very distasteful people, but they think that they have really good taste because they think they have all the right politics and that they're aligned properly.
Do they just go on Twitch and just talk? They're not playing video games or anything?
Exactly. Yeah. They're just blabbers basically.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta reframe myself. Yeah. Because whenever I think Twitch, I just think video games, but then there's so much more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think in many cases, Asmon's a good example of it starts with games and then while you're gaming, you're chatting. And then while you're chatting, you're talking about
you bring
politics.
up a clip and then you talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, so he does the Content Nuke, and then, some other stuff has happened between then and now, but one of the things that happened was this group of unsavory people called CPS, Child Protective Services, on Ethan. They believe that, based on some things he said on the podcast, or they claim to believe, that his dog had some disease that had contracted and the children were around the dog. And so this could be life threatening for the children, but really they just hate Ethan and they called CPS. And so CPS was way up in their business. And you remember Ethan has had a history of being swatted too.
Right.
And then there's these Reddits, these snark Reddits, H3 snark. And, they just kind of live to talk about what a shithead he is. So this was driving him crazy. He was going cuckoo. I think all of it was driving him cuckoo, but I think that the kids thing was wow, okay, gloves off. Mm. And around this time, iDubbbz, another contemporary of that era, he used to make a series called Content Cop, where he would profile a YouTuber and talk about them in depth and soft cancel them in some way through the power of video editing. And he came out of retirement after many years and made a Content Cop about Ethan. And it was, to be fair, it was like way lower effort. It didn't really like indict Ethan on anything all that serious, in my opinion. It was mostly like he and I are.
This is like the change of the channel doc where it's just some vague grievances.
Yeah. Yeah. And he didn't properly address things like the CPS calls, or he would distance himself from that cohort. But then he, like, the opening of the video is him and that cohort, like hanging out in Hassan's room, flipping off Ethan, like they dancing, like doing like, I don't know, a Fortnite dance or some shit. Flipping off Ethan. I mean, these are crazy people.
Fortnite dance. It just feels dated already.
Yeah. Last week, and this is the only reason I'm talking about this, because, you know, I like a good stunt. I like a good diabolical stunt. I like when somebody... You remember that episode of Breaking Bad where, like, you think that, like, Gus has the one up on Walt the whole time, and then, like, spoilers... It turns out like Walt strategically poisoned a kid.
Oh, right.
So that he could like then turn Jesse back to his side and then get the one up on Gus. And it's just like the whole thing like kind of blows your mind. Like, oh my God, like somebody was thinking in the background the whole time.
Or Nikado Avocado.
Incredible, right? If I can talk about Nikocado, I can talk about this. A couple of years ago, there was this thing called like Reactgate. And it was, do you remember, people were getting a lot of pressure, or there was a lot of talk and a lot of animosity towards Twitch streamers who would simply just watch a video from beginning to end.
Oh, yeah.
And just react to it and do like nothing in the spirit of fair use at all. And they would often use the same thumbnail just with their face on it. Right. They would often title the videos the same title as the thing that they reacted to. And they were much bigger often than the creators that they were reacting to. And so they were absolutely siphoning views. I mean, it's just unjust. And I think like in Asmon's case, the way he's tried to address that, I think, is he reacts to videos that are going to want him to react to those videos. You know what I mean? Like he'll react to a creator that he's already kind of friendly with, or he'll react to a creator that's quite small. He reacted to a small creator recently and she blew up like 300,000 subscribers. She went from like a few hundred to hundreds of thousands or something like that.
Oh, wow. Look at this. She only has 300 subscribers. Holy shit. Here, let me link you guys your video.
You know, or he'll react to news, and, you know, and news is a little bit more,
more free. Even though people do content claim, like Fox sometimes does that. And people are like, what are you, yours news, stop
your news, fuck you. Yeah, right? So he knew if he released that hour-and-a-half long content nuke about Hassan, these streamers are going to watch it.
Oh. Oh.
They're going to watch it. They're going to react to it. They're going to violate copyright big time. Now, you don't want to be copyright claiming like crazy and causing like new rule changes, or, you know, where, you know, he doesn't want to just like end the idea of reacting. So he said, like, I'm only going to go after anybody who, you know, it have to be a high bar that like where they're just being malicious at this point. And these fucking idiots, EJ, they stated explicitly, at least in the case of three, Kaceytron, Denims, and Frogan, right? Three Twitch streamers. They stated on air, in one case before the stream even happened, and in the other cases like during the stream, if you want to watch Ethan's content nuke ethically, by not giving him support, come watch it with us. Do a watch party with us. Watch parties aren't fair use.
No, it's not fair use.
And especially if you're straight up saying, don't give him the view, give me the view. And in one of their cases, she straight up was like, if you liked being able to watch this with me instead of supporting him, give me a like, give me a sub, pay me.
If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
Just saying that outright.
Wow.
Being wicked comfortable. Nobody's going to get me for this. So the next question is, what is Ethan's recourse, right? Do you just content flag it? Do you sue him? If you sue him, how much can you sue him for? Well, that's the fun part.
It's like,
so
what do the Ewoks do to Chewbacca after he grabs that piece of meat and they're in the net?
EJ, if you take my content, if we weren't part of the same organization, and you uploaded it, I could sue you for copyright if I felt that you were in violation of copyright. I would have to take you to U.S. federal court because it's a federal, you know, copyright's a U.S. federal offense. You don't file for that in your state. if you used like 10 seconds, I probably can't get anything from you. Like, you're probably going to be able to claim fair use. You're going to whatever. Obviously, watching the entirety of it is a big deal. But being able to chase the kinds of damages that you would have to chase, especially this amount of time out from the original upload, the only way you can do that is if you registered with the U.S. Copyright Office through the Library of Congress a copyright for that work before the upload.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that sneaky guy.
It reminds me of Kenny versus Spenny when like Kenny like finally reveals the terrible thing he's done, you know? That music. Dun, 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 dun. Hi. Yeah, he registered it in advance, knowing full fucking well that this would happen.
Oh my God.
Setting the trap. He made a big video about it. He opened the video with, join me, Ethan Klein, as I create generational wealth for my attorney.
Join me in creating generational wealth for my attorney.
So I looked into it. I think that the max that he can chase is $150,000 worth of damages. Now, my guess is he's going to have to prove like that they actually caused him that level of damage and stuff. But all these statements about like their maliciousness towards him it's not gonna go well. And then he showed in his video a variety, Hassan too, and lots of streamers, all these examples of them. They're playing the video, they get up to go to the bathroom, and they leave the room while it's still streaming, and the video is still playing, and they're not reacting to it. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking.
Well, they they fell into the trap.
My best assessment is they think that the rules that govern like social interaction online are the same rules that govern our laws. They think that Reddit arguments and YouTube comments and snark are the real world.
Yeah. No, in the bubble.
You know what I mean? They don't understand like hey, that's a law. And so, this will be obviously a federal civil suit. He's going to sue those three because they really met the high bar. There's one of them, Kaceytron. I almost feel bad for her. He showed this montage of her watching his content nuke, and she ripped. There were like 42 bong rips throughout it. She is just going ham on this bong. She's hacking up a lung. She there's the reason he showcased that because there's various times in the stream where she's like, I don't even know what's happening right now. Can somebody tell me what's going on in this stream?
Oh God.
So she's not even watching it.
People watch that? I don't.
So then that the next thing they're going to do is they're going to all have GoFundMes to try to cover their legal fees. Which, by the way, I don't. Maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like if it was me, I'd be like, well, I lost this suit. All I can do now is try to negotiate down. I would consider maybe representing myself, or I'm like, do I really need an attorney? Or do I just need to face the music here? But Ethan's like, he's like, and for all, if you're going to do a GoFundMe, please do, because I'm going to need some money to come out of this fucking settlement, or he probably doesn't want to settle, to come out of this court case. So if you go to the GoFundMes for the three of them, all of the comments of support, 90% of them are for Ethan. They're like, way to go, Ethan. Great moves. Keep it up. Here's $5 for Ethan. Here's $10 for Ethan. I hope it goes to Ethan. Ethan definitely had he became a really kind of, I think, distasteful character online for a while there too. But nothing wins my heart quite like an intelligent scheme. If it feels like this amazing WWE heel turn too, and this is all real life, and yet it's playing out like content and like entertainment. It's very surreal.
Yeah, that is strange. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, but it's like there's actually courts of law involved. Asmon's like, please stream it. Please stream it so I can react to it.
Yes, exactly. He's like thinking of his own numbers.
One odd thing about the GoFundMes was Kaceytron and Denims want $100,000 for their goal, and Frogan wants $200,000. I don't know where the fuck they get these like goal numbers from. And there's also like at the time of this recording, like a great discrepancy between who has. I think one of them's got 25K, one of them's got like 8K.
That's not much.
Yeah, it goes quick. You know, that's one thing about the legal system in America is, my understanding is in Europe, like you pay for the other person's legal fees if you lose, and it helps to kind of like dissuade some of these like frivolous lawsuits. So like if you're going to sue somebody, you better be, certain that you're going to win. Because otherwise, like just rich people or corporations can commit lawfare and just torment you through the form of attorney fees, and you'll cry uncle and settle for whatever you got to settle for. Yeah, that seems like a total miscarriage of justice.
Yeah, I don't know if that solves it, but maybe it does. I don't know.
But hey, man, you call CPS on a man's kids.
Yeah, he's gonna come up with a big old scheme.
Well, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than a smart scheme. You don't want to be punching people right in the face or anything like that. You want a smart scheme. Think about it. What trap could you lay for a dipshit stoner streamer? Make something insatiable.
Free cookies on these leaves that definitely don't lead to a pit with spears.
There was certainly the question of like, could Hassan with his millions just cover this whole thing? But that would be tough too. Hassan pays for all this shit that they've done. Like, probably not going to happen.
Probably not going to happen.
And then there was the question of why wouldn't he have sued Hassan? But I think Hassan actually resisted. I think it took a long time before he even watched the content nuke. I think probably he didn't meet this bar of both maliciousness and carelessness. That's all I got for the drama.
Wow, Ethan, great move. Keep it up. Proud of you.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.